Hello, welcome to Bal-krishna Educational Academy. This is Ashish. In continuation to our Python programming language, today we will discuss the functions in Python. So, which is the part of chapter 1 review of Python, and here we will learn about the functions in Python. A function is a block of code which only runs when it is called. A function is a reusable block of programming statements designed to perform a certain task. You can pass data known as parameters into a function. So a function can return data as a result. So functions in Python are of two types. One is built-in functions and number two, user-defined functions. So let's discuss what is built-in functions. Built-in functions are the functions that are built into Python and can be accessed by programmer. For example, we have max, min, bin, len. By using le and len, we can find out the length of any string or any of the character set which we have. Right? We have the round, and there are many more. So we can test it on the IDE which we have installed in our previous version, that is the PyCharm. So let's quickly do it on PyCharm environment. Okay, so open the Python console here. Yeah, so after the prompt sign, let's say I am declaring a variable called str and assigning the str a value called welcome to Bal-krishna Educational Academy. Right? So here the string has been created. Now let's say I have to find out the length of this string. So we have the built-in function that says len and the variable name str we have. The minute I will enter, so here is the output. So it's showing that the length of this string is 42. Right? So let's do one more example of built-in function. Let's say I'm creating a list. So I'm just creating a variable called lst and creating a list. So we can create the list by using the this square bracket. So let's say I'm just creating the list items is 12, 10, 9, 28, 45. Right? One more item, say 8. Now the minute I will enter, so the list has been created. Now I have to use the built-in function to find out the minimum number inside this list, or to find out the maximum number inside this list. So we have the built-in function to find out a minimum number inside the list. We can use by using the min keyword, right? So let's say I'm finding the minimum number inside this list. So what I will do is I will write min, and inside this bracket I'll put the name of this variable lst. Okay, the minute I will enter, so here is the minimum number inside this list. 8 is the minimum number inside this list. So let's find out the maximum number inside this list. So in the same way, I will write max, and inside this built-in function I'll put the name of the list lst. So here 45 is the maximum number inside this list. This we have done using the interactive mode. We have done this inside the console. So similarly, we can do it inside a file called the Python file. So let's quickly do it inside the Python file also. So I'm just closing this console application and right click on this, go to new and add a Python file. Name it as built-in fun. Right? It's a Python file. So here is the file. So let's say I have to create a string. Say I have just created a str and mention the string value, says welcome to Bal-krishna Educational Academy, right? So this is the first line. Now in the second line, so I need to write the print, and here is the length of this str. Now it will print the length of this str because I am using the Python file here. Let's save it and try to run it from here. See, here is the output 43. So this is the way we can do it on the script mode by creating a Python file. Okay. So in this previous slide, we have seen that we have the built-in function in the Python. So similarly, we can create the user-defined function by our own, right, as per our requirement. So in Python, it is also possible for programmer to write their own functions. These functions are called user-defined functions. So how we can create a function, a user-defined function, how we can create? In Python, a function is defined using the def keyword, def keyword. Let's take an example. So here is a simple example of creating a user-defined function in the Python. So it is started with the def keyword, and this is the name of the function. So you can define any name over here. So for example, I have created my function, right? Printed a statement, welcome to Bal-krishna Educational Academy. So now this function is created here, but there is no output of this function yet on the screen. So in order to get the output of this function, we need to call this function somewhere from the other area of the program, right? So how to call this function? So to call a function, use the function name followed by the parenthesis. So what we need to do is we will write the name of the function followed by the parenthesis. So let's do this practical on PyCharm. So switch to this. So let's close this and first do it on the Python console. Right here we have, let's say I have created a function and we need to create a function by using the def keyword, and name is my function, right, followed by the colon sign. Now I have to print it, so I'm printing it, and the message is welcome to Bal-krishna Educational Academy, right? So here the function we have. So this function has been created. Now I need to call this function. I just write my underscore function and the parenthesis. So the minute I'll enter, it will show us the output of that. So this is in the console mode. So let's do it on the script mode. So for this, let's create a Python file. So right click here, create a new Python file, name it as UserDefined Fun. So here is the file. So in order to create the file, we will follow the same pattern, def, name of the function, let's say my function, and I need to put the colon sign over here. Okay, now print the statement, says hello world. In order to call this function, I need to write the name of the function, say my function. It is automatically populated here by the IntelliSense, and my function. So it should print out the output of it. Let's save it and run it. See, here is hello world printed because I have declared a function followed by the calling of this function. I'm calling this function by using the name of the function followed by the parenthesis sign. This is how the function user-defined function works. Okay. So we have parameters and arguments. Let's understand what is parameter and argument. The parameters are the values provided in the parenthesis when we write function header. These are the values required by function to work. If there is more than one value required by the function to work on, then all of them will be listed in parameter list separated by comma. So let's take the example. So here I have created a function named as my function, and this function is taking two parameters, first name and last name. Here first name and last name are the parameters. So what I'm doing is I'm just printing the full name of the person by adding the first name and last name string. So what is arguments here? If I'm saying that first name and last name is the parameters, so what is arguments? Arguments are the values provided in function call / invoke statement. List of arguments should be supplied in same way as parameters are listed. So the order of supplying the argument is in the same order as we have created the parameters in the main function. Right? Here is the example we have. So I have created a function called full name, and that full name has the parameter. Here the parameters first name and last name. Here full name is the name of the function, and what this function is doing, it is taking two parameters, first name and last name, and finally printing the full name by adding first name and last name, or you can say by concatenating first name and last name string in order to calculate the full name. So here first name and last name is the parameters, and while calling this function from the other part of the code, we call the function name followed by passing the argument. Here I am passing the argument, the first name as the Ashish and last name as the Sharma. So finally it should print Ashish Sharma as the full name. So let's do this practical on PyCharm environment. So let's quickly move to the PyCharm full_name. So this is the name of this function. So what I'm doing is the function is taking the two parameters. The first parameter is the first name, and the second parameter name is the last name, right? So it is taking two parameters, and now what I'm going to do is I'm just concatenating these two parameters. Now I need to call this function from somewhere the other part of this code. So what is the name of the function? The name of the function is full name. So it should be full name, and I have to pass the argument from this calling method. I'm calling it, so it is calling method. So the first name, let's say it's Ashish, comma, last name I'm passing Sharma, right? So this is done. I'm saving this file. So I need to run it because I'm calling it full name, so it should print Ashish Sharma in a single line. Let's do it. Run it. Here is the output. Right. Similarly, we can do some mathematical calculation inside the function. Let's say I have a function which is just the multiplication of two numbers. So let's modify this function here. Let's say area. So let's say it's calculating the area. Right. And start the name. You can say fun area. Right. So we have the number 1, let's say it's A, B. Now I have to calculate the area, so it should do A into B, right? So what I need to do is, when I'm just calling this function from somewhere of the code, so I need to write the name of the function, and now I have to pass the argument. So now it is clear that here in the function, while I am declaring the function, A and B are the parameters. While I am calling it, passing the argument while calling this function. Let's say I have passed the 10 and the second value is 20, right? So let's save it and run it. So here is the out. This is what we have for today. Thank you for watching the Python tutorial at Bal-krishna Academy. Happy learning. Have a good day.